Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about how to place an ILL request in the new Union catalog called OCM Cat on the Opals platform. So I'm going to begin by logging into the system. If you don't have the URL yet, you can always find it at ocmboces.org/SLS. About halfway down our page, you're going to see our new logo for OCM Cat. If we click on the OCM Cat button, it takes us right to that platform. I'm using Fabius Pompey High School as a test account to place some ILL requests because Heather and Lola were nice enough to let us do that. And because I've done this before, the system is remembering Fabius Pompey High School. So it will remember your school once you've logged in. So I can log into the system. And again, it's remembering my district and library, but the first time you will have to, or after you clear your cookies, you will have to select the district and library from the drop-down menu. Then you type in your school code, and your school code is always immediately following. It's in these brackets right here. So Fabius Pompey, it's FPHS. And then the password is test pass, TEST PASS. Then we can log in. And now we see we are logged in as FPHS. The username is not case sensitive. Okay, here we can select a location if we know that there's a particular district that we like to borrow with. But we would most likely be doing a title or author search. For our example, I'm going to look up Our Town, because I'm placing this request with us, School Library System, because I know we have a class set of this. And I'm going to log in as Marianne from SLS so you can see what it looks like to either reject or fill a request and send it along. I'll play in 3x. So we have a number of BIP records here. If we see the gray button shows us the number of holding records. It's a little bit difficult to read, the white on gray, but if I keep scrolling down, we'll find the one that I'm looking for, the one that SLS is attached to. We've got 120 holding records associated. So the system is always going to show you the first 3 locations listed here, but it does not necessarily mean that that's who they're limited to. Once we go, you can click on holdings and see all the schools that have holdings associated. And this particular example is pretty good because we have a West Hill school and we can see their status of their materials, their copies of Our Town, live because they are an existing Opal school. So you just hover over to see the building associated with it, but most likely if I'm doing a class set, I'm going to pick OCMSLS because we have 113 copies. So I can request the ILL, click on that button if that's the one I'm looking for. If this was let's say Wonder, and we were looking to create our own kind of class set from a number of different schools' holdings, we could check a number of schools off so we could get the proper number. But in this case, I can just do the 113. I can request 20 copies here, but I'm actually only going to request 1 just for this example. The expiry date is the date that we want to have it sent out by. So let's say I want it to be sent out by the 21st. I'm going to put Mrs. Smith wants this book. And this is just for me. These are notes for me. We received them in the email communication and they're saved in the ILL record. ILL transaction record. So we ask that you don't put both the student name and a student ID because both a student name and a student ID are not supposed to be transmitted via electronic communication. So it's one or the other. The public note goes to everybody that you request the title from. So if I'm requesting from 3 schools, everybody is going to see this public note. And again, I'm just going to write Marianne, we are testing. again. Thanks. But for example, you could say a teacher really needs this for 6 weeks. The private note is for your own records. That's something only you can see as the requester. If you try to submit the request, it's going to have an error right now because I didn't check any responders. So they don't know who to ask. The system doesn't know who to ask. In this case, I'm picking SLS and I'm submitting my request. And we can see that Marianne and MBD will be receiving an email from the system. The emails go out twice a day, once at noon and once at 4 a.m. The emails come from root@schoolaid.net. And I'm just going to go to my other window over here where I've copied a email into a Google Doc here for you to see. Again, it's root@schoolaid.net. The subject is always going to be this URL for the Union Catalog, ocm.calypso.schoolaid.net. That's the URL for our Union or OCM Cat. If we click on this ILL ID in the email, it's going to be a hyperlink to that particular request in the catalog. So right now, if I was to, and again, you wouldn't be doing this, you would just be clicking on it because of how I'm logged in. I'm going to come back over here to Heather's and Fabius Pompey's version. I'm going to click enter like I had clicked on that, and again it's taking me directly to that ILL ID 90, the request for traffic. Okay, so that's what it looks like when you receive the email. And again, you can just click on it, and then we could scroll all the way down to the bottom and either reject or fill. But I'm going to actually show you that from the other side of things, from logging in as Marianne. So actually it looks like I already did that here. So I'm going to pretend that I did not receive the email yet, because these requests are live in the system. You don't necessarily need to wait to receive the email. If I click on ILL and I click on responses, these are all the things that need my attention, the things that I need to interact with and either reject or fill. So if I click on this I'm pointing at the screen like you guys can see it. If you click on this hyperlink here of the title, that's just going to take you to the bib record of that particular title. But if you click on ILL ID, it's taking you directly to that particular request. The call numbers for those 113 titles are all listed out right here, so that's kind of silly. But we can see that the request came from Fabius Pompey. We've got the borrower ID here, requested by Lola Hopsker. Sorry, she's the ILL contact for Fabius Pompey. And then we can see, sorry about that, we can see our note right here, our public note. So now Marianne has the ability to either reject the request and she can add a note. This is currently checked out to a student. Sorry, I can't send it over. Okay, and then that generates an email to the requester or Phil. So Phil, we would scan one of the barcodes associated with that record for us. And I grabbed one earlier, so I'm just going to copy and paste that right into this box. And if you had multiple copies that they had requested, you could just go ahead and scan those titles that were in your hand, and it would add the barcodes to the system or to this window. We would assign a due date. I'm going to say, oh, we don't need it back till the end of October. I can write a note back to Lola, letting her know I'm putting it in the delivery today, or whatever really you want to be displayed in those public notes. Select OK. And then this is just confirming that these are going out. You cannot this is you can't scan the barcode here. This is actually asking for the scan loan, select loan by scanner. So it would be asking for this loan ID. So in most cases, you're going to be just clicking on this, or if you had several, you could select them all from this top box by selecting that. We select OK here, and now it's generating this almost like a packing slip. So this interlibrary loan is that ILL ID that we clicked on as a hyperlink either from the email or from the responses section. So if we were on that page, we could always scan this barcode to bring up that particular ILL request. This loan ID is linked to the actual circulation of that ILL. So we can do print and close. It's going to pop up a print option, print dialog box. So to receive this, you will have to enable your pop-ups for ocm.calypso.schoolaid.net. But I'm just going to cancel out, and we're not going to print that. So then on the other side, Lola will receive an email saying, I received your request, or we're filling your request, it's on its way. Then we have the option from, again, this screen here, our responses, to be able to remind the borrowing school, oh, I need that back, or you can renew it from the interface here as well. So that is basically it from this side. And when Lola receives it at Fabius Pompey, she's going to be able to check it right out. They have Destiny. So what would happen would be Heather or Lola would create a temporary bib record, an ILL bib record, and attach a holding for Our Town, a play in 3 acts, and circulate to the with the barcode in their own system. And then when she's sending it back would be the next time that she would need to come in to this system. That's when we return it from the system. And again, we can just, if Marianne had included that packing slip, we could just scan that ILL ID, because chances are she has some transactions that have occurred after that. But right now we're just going to go to that particular ILL ID, scroll down to the bottom, and return. Again, we can just tick this box, select OK, and now the system knows that it's being returned in transit to school library system. So I'm looking at my notes right now to see if there's anything else I might need to tell you. Oh, so one question we did receive is about reporting. So the system will keep track of requests, filled and unfilled requests, and that sort of thing. So you, again, won't need to be tracking statistics for school library system except for transactions that take place outside of the system. So if you have, you know, a fairly large district and you guys borrow amongst yourselves without going into the system, that is something that you'll have to just kind of do a tick mark and let us know about at the end of the year. Okay, if you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you.